Welcome to another episode of the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast, your source for actionable real-life examples and advice to help you move to the next level of investing. Each week, we help you make a quantum leap in your business, your finances, and/or your life. We want to help you take back control, help you thrive during chaos, and lead you through the current crisis to a better tomorrow. For more resources, check out smartrealestatecoach.com and be sure to give us a rating and review on your favorite platform.
Hey everyone, this is Zach Beach, CEO of Smart Real Estate Coach. I am hijacking this podcast on behalf of Chris Prefontaine. This is the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast. I am so excited to spend some time with you guys here today as we are going to be diving into one of the main things when it comes to buying real estate, which is lead generation. Where to find these leads. And more importantly, where to find leads that most people don't have access to, because we live in a space now where data is everywhere. And you may feel yourself calling on the same leads and having the same conversations, and sellers getting frustrated because you're having that exact same conversation. They've been contacted a million different times at this point in time. So I am super excited to go ahead and bring on our strategic partner, our friend, and CEO or president of Landvoice. We got Shaun Farr here with us. Let me just read you up a quick little bio here, just so you guys get a little bit of context, and then we'll dive right in the conversation. So Shaun Farr is the president of Landvoice, a prominent real estate technology and data firm that equips real estate professionals with innovative tools to enhance their business. Now, I know most of you guys are going to get super excited at this because every time I host an event, most people care about the data and the tools more than they actually care about real estate investing. So, Shaun's got a ton of experience because back in 2001, he focused on assisting investors and gained valuable insight into the industry, which he then transitioned in 2010 to start supporting more real estate agents, but also real estate investors. His leadership at Landvoice has fostered his reputation to deliver innovative solutions. Shaun is also committed to excellence and drives the company to develop new products consistently, which you guys know one of our core values here at Smart Real Estate Coach is to constantly innovate and improve. So I can promise you this. I get prospected daily in my email inbox about data services, about CRMs. But I can tell you, once I had a conversation with Shaun, we hit it off and we knew that we could provide the top tier partnership here for each and every one of you listeners here. So, Shaun, without further ado, welcome to the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast.
Zach, thank you, man. I'm not sure if this is a funeral or a start of a podcast, so I apologize to everybody for that long bio, but happy to be with you guys today.
Yeah, well, now you point that out. I mean, I feel like sitting there, like reading that off, in front of the dead body. But I promise you, this is the start of a great relationship, not
Absolutely.
the end of one as well. So, Shaun, as we like always, I mean, I know we're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about data and where to find leads, but so the audience can get to know you a little bit. Tell us how you get started in this. Give us a little bit of a peek behind the green curtain.
Yeah, just a little bit more context from that bio, right? So started in real estate in 2001, grew up in Arizona, I'm actually in Salt Lake City now. In 2001, when I moved to Salt Lake City, I got involved with a real estate coaching company, and they were teaching people how to buy properties for pennies on the dollar through tax delinquent auctions. And so I was working basically as an assistant of one of these coaches that was buying properties all over the country, having a lot of fun. And after a couple years, man, I'd been doing it for a couple years. We'd been buying properties and picking them up. And they threw me on stage. I was showing people how to kind of research title and make sure they weren't buying properties that had liens and other things on them. And so we were just having a lot of fun. And I did that for about 10 years. And it was just incredible. We were looking at a lot of pre-foreclosure properties, but we're looking at a lot of tax defaulted properties. And that was something I just became really passionate about, is this real estate market. And then, 2008 hits and we're still plugging along and doing great things. But I decided to pivot in 2010 in my career, and I joined this company called FSBO Leader. FSBO stands for First Sell by Owner. And then a couple months later, we acquired another company, and that's Landvoice. And Landvoice really just specializes in data for real estate investors and for real estate agents. And that's what we want to talk about today, is how to get you the right data to invest in the right properties. And Zach, you do a great job of showing people how to finance these properties and how to get creative. But if you have the right data in front of you, and know which homes you should kind of be having conversation with and which homeowners, then everything else is really about negotiation, because we're going to help you find these properties. Now you just got to negotiate the deal and get really good at creative financing and communicating. And so we want to kind of take one layer of all that work and investing out at Landvoice, and we're here to do that. So now, instead of up on stage and kind of talking about how to invest, we just kind of geek about the data at Landvoice. And that is, how do we find properties that we can find, at really good deals, Zach, or get creative with creative financing? And we've got 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different products to help you as an investor. Whether, it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in, even in Canada, we can help you do that. And that's what we wake up every day doing, is aggregating a lot of data, appending a lot of data to find you the exact homeowner that's kind of in a place that needs to do something different, right? And typically, when they're motivated, that's when we know that we can find a good deal and still help them out of a kind of a difficult situation as a homeowner. So we want to get into a lot of that, Zach, but that's a little bit of my history. So started Landvoice in 2010. 2020, actually took a break from Landvoice, left and started building a CRM and some other technology companies for 4 or 5 years. And then actually with that technology, came back and acquired Landvoice again after I left that company. And so Landvoice is now backed by a $1 billion industry and $1 billion company. I only tell you that to say we're able, because of that financial backing, to make sure you have the best data possible across the country to do your job as an investor.
Oh man, what a journey. So from speaking on stages, right, and helping real estate investors, to then joining a company that was obviously database with FSBO, and then acquiring a company, and then leaving a company to start your own, and then to come back, and then you acquired your old company?
That's right. Yeah. So we brought it back. We acquired the company. And so now I'm working again as president of Landvoice. So totally full circle after 4.5 years of leaving the company. Yep.
And if you don't mind me asking, so tell me, like, why did you decide and go back and acquire Landvoice? Like, what were you working with on the side? I'm more curious than anything at this point.
Yeah, so I joined a what we call a mega real estate agent. A guy out there, his name's Ben Kinney, and Ben's out there building this technology called Brivity. It's a CRM for real estate agents. So as an investor, this is a little kind of side topic, but for real estate agents, it's an all-in-one platform that helps the real estate agent build and grow their business. And so what we're doing is plugging a lot of the Landvoice data into that software solution, right? Which is really cool. We're going to plug that in a lot of other CRMs and tools. But with you and I, we're still busy building Landvoice with all the data for investors, for real estate agents. And then we're going to get into a lot of data for mortgage lenders as well. We're not sitting on our hands around here. We want to get really good with the data. We want to get it really good for the investor. And because I've been on the investor side for over 10 years of my career, I can kind of, again, geek out on the data and say, well, this is good for agents, but what's good for investors? And that's what we're focused on as well, right? So yeah, we're doing a lot for the real estate agent, Zach, but I'm extremely passionate about the investor side, and I want to make it really easy to find good deals for these investors so you can thrive in your business, right?
Well, I love that you brought that up. I want people to hear a little bit further of an insight, because the reality is real estate is an ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
There's a certain place where agents fit, investors, wholesalers, syndications. Like, there's a place where it all fits. And somebody like yourself that has, say, these tentacles or these arms in multiple facets of the ecosystem, it's only going to allow you to have more insight when you're affecting each individual aspect of that ecosystem as well. So I can't tell you like how excited I am when it comes to this current market, because the amount of other pieces inside the ecosystem that are willing to collaborate with a creative financing specialist now is skyrocketing. And that's honestly allowing somebody like myself that came from zero real estate experience and then doing creative deals for the past decade, it's now allowing myself and now all the listeners to actually enter into other real estate niches because of the skill set of real estate investing and creative financing. Like, for example, when I'm out there prospecting with even agents right now, the amount of agents that are open to a collaboration when it comes to, hey, I'll actually acquire creatively, they get paid, we get a good deal, and the seller able to walk away is enormous. Same with wholesalers right now, where they're just, the numbers aren't working the way they used to based upon the current debt. Their end buyers aren't coming to fruition because they need to buy low in order to fix it up and sell high. And now you have these creative investors like myself being able to step in. So I love that you're coming from multiple backgrounds in order to have this conversation so that way we can kind of analyze each and every aspect. With that,
Zach, and I'll just say one thing, right? In the business of investing, we're really in the business of just creating a win-win situation for everyone. It's going to be a win situation for the realtor if they're involved, right? We're going to find a win situation for any homeowner that we're trying to buy a property from, right? We got to understand their pain, what really solves their problem to create a win situation for them. And then obviously as an investor, it's got to make sense for us and be a win. So at Landvoice, we just want to help you kind of find the data, find the right homeowners so that you can then create that win-win situation for each of these different parties.
And if you guys haven't listened to our podcast in the past, I mean, the language in which you're saying is the exact same thing that we say. We create a win-win-win scenario for all involved. And the two main things that come across in any deal is, number one, motivation, and two is financial. So the fact that Shaun is basically, without this being planned, saying the exact same language is sharing with you guys why we are continuing to focus on this partnership as well. So I know we've kind of continued to skirt around like what Landvoice is in theory.
Yeah.
I know that you guys provide a whole bunch of different services, so maybe just walk us through that. And then I know we want to spend some time on a very specific, type of data that nobody else has right now, at least that type of quality. And then we'll spend some time there as well.
Appreciate that, Zach. So we're getting into quite a few products Landvoice has. Let's talk about the pain as an investor real quick, right? I always go back to 2008 through 2012. We had tons of really good deals, right? Back in 2008 to 2012. Inventory was huge. There are all kinds of foreclosures everywhere. Everybody's bleeding with the financial crisis. Then 2013 hits. All these private kind of equity firms come in and start just paying cash for all of these homes. And ever since then, since private equities come in, inventory has just been extremely low. We've had a lot of cash buyers. And so one of the pain points for us as investors, because inventory is low, is like, where's the deals? There are no deals in my neighborhood or my area or my region or county. And that's always the struggle, is like, where do we find the next deal? And again, that's why Landvoice is in business. So let's just kind of go through it together. Where Landvoice got its start back in 1991, feels like a millennia ago, but in 1991, we started aggregating every for sale by owner across the country. And they were doing that through newspapers and faxing them to investors, which is crazy. Now you just log into landvoice.com every morning and you've got new data so that even though there's low inventory, guys, we're going to feed you deals. Now, why would an investor be interested in a for sale by owner? Well, for sale by owners, on average, and this is according to the National Association of Realtors, will sell for 14 to 16% less than if it was listed on the MLS through an agent, right? Mm-hmm. So should you as an investor be scanning through and looking through all the for sale by owners? Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty inexpensive at Landvoice. You pay a monthly subscription. You can get all the for sale by owner data. These are homeowners you should be talking to just to see, how motivated they really are. It's an opportunity to get a deal, usually on average 15% less than if it was sold on the MLS. And that's simple and easy. We aggregate that data from over 1,000 sources every day. We go through a quality assurance team to ensure it's a true for sale by owner. And then we even update it when it's listed through an agent. We'll update you and tell you, hey, it's now active. Don't even worry about this for sale by owner now. It's listed through an agent. So that's one really cool product that you can look at as an investor. If you want to diversify your portfolio and try and find more deals, I highly recommend you keep an eye on the for sale by owner data. Does that make sense, Zach?
Makes a ton of sense. Past that, I know you guys also do expired listings, right? Which has been like 80% of the deals in which we've done over the past decade have come from expired listings.
Yeah. And some investors understand those, some don't. Let me touch on that real quick. So an expired listing is when an agent lists a home, puts it on the MLS. They typically get a 6-month contract with that agent to try and sell the home. After 6 months, that contract with the agent expires and the homeowner is free to do whatever they want. They can go list the home now for sale by owner. They can list with another agent. So we like expired listings for a couple of reasons. One, the homeowner is a little bit more motivated, right? The last agent failed. They didn't get the home sold. And now the homeowner oftentimes has got to move. They've already moved. The home's vacant. there's some really cool opportunities with expired data where if for 6 months it's been listed, it didn't sell. Now they need to go through a price reduction, or maybe they're just that much more motivated to get something done. And creative financing with what Zach's teaching you is a phenomenal way to step in on expired data and help with that as well. So keep that in mind when you're working with as an investor, when you're working with not only FSBOs, but with the expired data.
Okay, who wants to be the next apprentice? Pretty interesting, guys. We started this apprentice program back as a July 4th, 2024 promo. That's where it started. And it was so incredibly effective. We were just going to run it for the summer. It was so effective immediately. We kept it. It's in place now. And what is it? It allows you to get into the community, the Wicked Smart community, for less dollars than the QLS home study course sells for right now on our site. In fact, when you go to smartrealestatecoach.com/apprentice-pod, apprentice-pod, when you go there, you're going to see that as an apprentice, you're going to get over $13,000 worth of coaching, the possibility for you to touch base with us if you want to 4 or 5 times a week. And it doesn't exist anywhere out there, frankly. That's why we did it. We did it for 2 reasons. One, no one is giving you the support out there. We keep hearing feedback, which is how this was born, that other educators are not giving support. They're just selling stuff. So it doesn't exist anywhere, and nowhere in the real estate education or coaching space. And we want to help you do one thing: deals. So we've wrapped the support mechanism around this. We've allowed you to get into a Slack community with the other associates who previously were protected in Slack. And now you get to jump in there and experience that for 12 weeks. You also get to come to the In the Trenches boot camp, which is private. It's a chance to hang out with the family team and one of the coaches for 2.25 days in our conference room, roll up our sleeves, get calls done, get deals done. If you come with leads, you leave with deals. Absolutely incredible. I could go on and on. Go to the website right now, check out more information about the apprentice, and I'm going to give you the In the Trenches boot camp site, because you don't have to become an apprentice. It just happens to be free with apprentice and associate. So 2 links I'm going to give you, super important. smartrealestatecoach.com/ITTB-pod. That's going to give you some information about the bootcamp. If you want to buy a ticket to the bootcamp, it's more expensive, but you can. Just to come check us out. About 1 or 2 people every time we run it do just that. Or become an apprentice, and it's for free. smartrealestatecoach.com/apprentice-pod.
Love that. Yeah, you hit on some key points, right? So expired listings, they've already been on the market, didn't work. They're more than likely to have alternative or want to look at alternative options. I know you guys also offer pre-foreclosures as well, and you gave me some interesting information in regards to those as well. Maybe you can hit on that as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about pre-foreclosure for a minute. Again, Landvoice can deliver that data to you every morning before 8 a.m. You're going to log in, you've got all the new pre-foreclosures. But what pre-foreclosures? Depending on the state that you're in, whether you're in a judicial or a non-judicial state, you're in one of those 2 states. You know that you're going to either get a notice of default or a lis pendens, depending on whether you're in judicial or non-judicial state. We'll send that data to you. You're going to see all the lis pendens or all the notice of defaults. Now, typically, that's 90 to 120 days before an auction. It's just the bank saying, I've got to file a notice. I've got to start the foreclosure process. It's lis pendens. It's notice of default. Then, usually 4 to 6 weeks before an auction, they have to file a public notice. We call it a notice of sale or a notice of trustee sale. Again, depending on which state you're in, we'll deliver all of that data to you as well. And then once the bank actually forecloses, we know it becomes bank owned or what we call REO. And so you're going to get all of those statuses with Landvoice, all the pre-foreclosure data in your county. You can get it in 2 counties. You can pay a little bit more and get 3 or 4 counties. But we're going to deliver all the pre-foreclosure data to you with the contact information so you can reach out to the homeowner, help save the homeowner's credit, right? Get the home sold or buy the home from them before it goes to auction and save the equity that they have in their home. Again, creating a win-win situation. So we love pre-foreclosure data. Again, the data is just delivered to you every morning. You log into landvoice.com and you've got it. Now, what are the stats? Since COVID in 2020, Zach, there's been a lot of interesting things happen. The bank kind of furloughed foreclosures. There wasn't a lot going on. To be honest, there's not a lot of foreclosures out there. Across the US, we're only seeing 93 to 95,000 foreclosures every month. Now, it's not a lot, guys. When you when you think about 2008 and we were seeing a million and a half foreclosures, it's just not a lot going on. So there are some, and there's plenty in your neighborhood or your area. I talk to a lot of real estate agents and a lot of investors. They thank me when we show up at an event and they're like, "Hey, I just listed or I just picked up 3 or 4 more foreclosures." It's a good opportunity to help owners, again, save their credit and save their equity and get them out of a really bad situation. So we love pre-foreclosure. I'm just telling you the numbers are really low, but there's still a great opportunity because a lot of people aren't working with those.
And you're looking at data all across the country. So I'm curious because we're obviously seeing some very specific states having more and more pre-foreclosures. I mean, at least that's what like the major medias are saying, including Landvoice and things of like that. Like Florida seems to be getting hit significantly harder than most other states. But I'm curious on what your projections are in regards to those pre-foreclosures as well.
That is what we're seeing. Yeah, for some reason the economy is strong in Florida, but we are seeing foreclosures, an increase in states like Florida. We're seeing it in Tennessee actually right now. The prices of homes has grown dramatically in a lot of places all over the country, right? And so I don't know exactly why that's happening, but we are seeing increases in those states, a little bit in Nevada and Arizona as well. The Sun Belt's kind of interesting when you think about some of those states. So what I would say is don't skip on this. I don't see a lot of people working with this data like it should be. And so even though I'm saying they're at kind of some pretty low lows, there's still a huge opportunity for you as an investor to step in and use that data and find some pretty good deals that are out there with motivated sellers, right?
Yeah, what's interesting is as you've kind of gone through that insight, what we've seen, at least some of the deals in which we've done where we have to catch up the seller, right? The arrears, which is what you're pointing out in the pre-foreclosures. They're behind on a certain amount of payments, and every bank has their own process where a certain amount of payments happen, and then they go ahead and start the process. A lot of things that we're seeing are, like especially state dependent. Like Florida's I would say it's pretty clear. It's like insurance has drastically increased. Assessment values have increased. That's what we see a lot, especially up here in the Northeast, which is taxes and assessment value, which then increase the taxes. And then insurance increase, and now escrow drastically increases, and now all of a sudden somebody's payment is, an extra $1,000 more than when they went and bought the property, especially if they acquired it during COVID, where they bought it for the interest rate, right? Low monthly payment, didn't put a ton of money down, and now all of a sudden escrow's increasing, and now people can't afford it. I bought a property subject to about 6 months ago. That's exactly what happened. His taxes continue to increase, where it went from like $1,100 a month to almost $2,000, and it was completely out of his way of being able to pay for it now. So keep an eye on that. Those guys, as you're listening to this, there's a lot of indicators that are sharing with us that are saying like people are starting to find out that these properties are unaffordable for them at this point.
It's really well said, Zach. I mean, we take these fixed interest rates. We have really good rates on these homes, right? Over the last few years, my payment. I'm up $800 since I bought my home, and it's only because of property taxes and also your property insurance, right? So yeah, you're seeing that across the country, and I think people are really feeling that. Also, the economy is being kind of strange lately, right? With the last administration, I know we had an election in November and things changed, but credit card debt has climbed dramatically, and so we're seeing people's savings accounts have dropped. Credit card debt has increased dramatically. Because of that, I know foreclosures are at an all-time low, but I want to tell you about another product we just launched a few months ago, Zach.
Go ahead, dive in.
I've always been passionate about this real estate data, and everyone has always asked me, hey, pre-foreclosure data, it's so amazing, it's great, but can you get a little bit more information and get me ahead of the game? And so I've been working on this for like 5 or 6 years, and it's been driving me nuts. I'm like, how can I get an investor ahead of the line from all the other investors so they can begin working with homeowners that do have like high credit card debt, that do have a low savings account? And so we created a product a few months ago. And guys, if you're an investor and you're looking for the right deal, this is the part that I've been geeking out about for years. And we finally just went live with this product. We call it Distressed. And what distressed is these are homeowners that are missing payments, but the bank hasn't started foreclosure yet. So distressed is essentially, you just alluded to it, Zach, right? Like you miss a payment, you miss a second payment, the bank starts calling, they're getting a little bit nervous, right? But when someone starts missing payments on their car, on their credit card, and now on their mortgage, they're in this kind of distressed state. And so we can run some algorithms and figure out which homes in your neighborhood are specifically in distress that are going to be the next people walking into foreclosure. Okay. So we call this distress. We have 4 levels of distress. When you log into Landvoice, you'll see an address and it'll show you the level of distress these homes are in. And typically when it gets to that 4th level of distress is what we call it. We have little bars that'll show you how distressed these homes are. They're really close. Like the bank has to file notice of default. And some of these level 4 distressed, you'll start seeing them show up as a lis pendens or a notice of default that we talked about earlier. Now, this is unique and it's kind of expensive data. So I have seen one other company come out with this product. In fact, it was a year ago, last year, February of 2024. I saw a guy on stage and he started selling this product. And basically what he said is, hey, give me a bunch of zip codes. And for $2,000, I'll tell you 500 homes that are in distress. And I thought, gosh, that's a lot of money. I know we can do it for a lot less than that. So guys, we got our hands on this data and we launched it last year, or is late last year. And what we're trying to do is keep it really affordable, but it is expensive. So what you do is you'll give Landvoice somewhere between 8 and 15 zip codes in your area, right? Give us your favorite zip codes. Give us the zip codes that you really want to kind of invest in real estate. And we'll take anywhere from 8 to 15 and we'll just start going down the list until we find 500 homes that are in distress. So you're going to get 500 homes. Again, it is expensive. We're going to do it for half of what this other company was doing it for. So it's $1,000, but for 500 homes, you now can have conversations with these homeowners and help them get out of a really difficult situation. What I recommend when you're having conversations, when you're knocking on the door, when you're reaching out to these homeowners, whatever you want to do, I oftentimes don't want to kind of approach them and tell them they're in a bad financial situation, right? We talk about removing barriers, not growing the barrier. And when you start a conversation with, hey, I know you're in a bad financial situation, the fence just gets taller and taller and deeper, and there's just no way to like build a relationship. So when you get access to this data with Landvoice, I highly recommend that you have a different conversation, right? Hey, I'm a cash buyer. I just purchased a couple homes in your neighborhood and I'm reaching out to a few of your neighbors to just find out if you know of any of your neighbors that might be interested in selling their home or their property. And a lot of guys might blow you off the first time, right? They might say, no, I'm good. Thanks for calling anyway, right? Say, no, not a problem at all. I've got this free report that shows you the price or the value of your home. You could do that. You could do something else on, like just offer something of value, or just say something like leave the door open and say, do you mind if I follow up with you in a few weeks just to find out if anybody's come to mind that might be willing to sell in your neighborhood? Keep the door open, say something like that so that you can follow up with them every 2 to 3 weeks, because I promise you their financial situation is getting worse and worse every week and every month, right? And so that's the idea, is even if they turn you away because they're in a little bit of this kind of mental situation of just denial, right, Zach?
That's very normal. For sure.
We love our distressed. And what I'm telling you is you're usually going to get lied to the first time. Like, no, we're good. We don't know anybody that's going to sell. Just leave the door open. And where the money is with distress, Zach, is in the follow-up, right? If you read the MIT studies, the Harvard studies, it usually takes 6 to 8 follow-ups before you're actually going to convert some of these different types of leads or listings, right? And so highly recommend the follow-up, but we love distressed. And if you're serious about investing, doing the creative financing, which Jack's teaching you, this is one of the best data points that you can really crush it in your area. In fact, 500 homes might be too many for you. You might partner with another investor and split that cost, but it's an opportunity to really crush it in your specific target market.
No, I love how you brought that up, and because as a company, we have been looking for ways in order to figure out how to get ahead of that step-by-step process that the bank is going through and being able to identify people, because there's nothing that kills me more mentally, or it makes my heart hurt, when I reach out to somebody and they're already too far gone. I'm like, I can't help you anymore.
There's not enough time.
I wish you could have called me 90 days ago, right? It's like short sales right now. It absolutely kills me, because if I just knew about it, 6 months ago or 90 days ago, we could have caught them up. We could have bought it subject to it. We could have created a lease option that allowed them to move on. That way we could continue to make the payments on their behalf, especially if it's a nice cash flowing property, and continue to help their credit as well, guys. What's always interesting, right, especially when you hear this from Shaun, is that like most people wonder why people would buy property or be able to buy properties on creative financing. Like, why would sellers do this? And you guys are telling us, like, there are 4 very distinctive lead sources that you guys are providing right now to investors, and they all have different reasons why that they would do this or why they would sell to somebody that's doing the strategy. And one of the main things are just the people are behind on payments, they're distressed, and they need help. And they have no idea, especially if you're in creative financing, they have no idea that you exist unless you call them or you send a direct mail piece to them, because they've only been taught one way their entire life. And if they feel as though that one way is not going to work, then they are just going to bury their heads in the sand. It happens day in and day out. And there are way more people that we could help out there if we just reached out. Shaun, if you wouldn't mind, I know we, through this partnership, you created some very specific links for us. So let's make sure that the audience gets it. We'll also throw in the show notes.
Yeah, appreciate that. So at Landvoice, we want to kind of take care of you guys. We've been working with Zach the last few months, and it's turning into just a phenomenal partnership. And so we've got a really good deal for you. If you go to landvoice.com/SREC, Smart Real Estate Coach, right? SREC, you're going to get a phenomenal opportunity to save a lot of money on this data. The distress that we just talked about is not on this website. It's the FSBOs, it's the pre-foreclosures, it's our neighborhood search tool that are there on this website. So if you want the distress data, and if I'm an active investor anywhere in the country, that's number 1 on my list. Just call into our team, and they'll take care of you with that distress data as well. Want to say one more thing about distress that I forgot, Zach, if you don't mind. I know we got to wrap up. We're getting long here. We talked about pre-foreclosures being kind of at all-time lows. Guys, the distressed is what's showing us there's a little bit of a wave coming with foreclosure. So about 93 to 95,000 foreclosures is what we're seeing across the U.S. right now. What we're seeing with distressed homes that are in just financial distress right now, motivated sellers that are coming soon, we're seeing anywhere from 1.2 to 1.5 million distressed homes right now. So when we talk about, I don't know if I'd call it a tsunami, but I'm telling you, there's a big wave coming of homeowners that are really in financial duress. And this data, not only is it exclusive, if we sell it to you in your zip code this month, we won't sell it to anybody else that month in those zip codes. So you're going to get exclusive data. They're not going to be taking 10 and 15 and 20 calls. It's you, right? So if you send them a mailer, if you knock on their door, if you have a call with them, nobody else is calling this. And that's the other really cool thing, is it's exclusive and it's you getting in front of the line. And what I'm saying is, don't try and close the deal in the first call or the first door knock. Like, let this kind of relationship mature a little bit and just keep the door open to follow up every couple of weeks. And I'm telling you, there's so many deals out there for you guys to create win-win situations for the homeowner, for you, and for everyone involved, that we're very bullish about this type of data to help you thrive as a real estate investor.
Now, awesome point, Shaun. Again, guys, go to landvoice.com/SREC. Again, the reason why I brought Shaun on here today and why we are locking arms as two companies here is because we have the solution to these distressed sellers. And if we don't have the solution, let's make sure you go ahead and create a collaboration with the wholesaler, right, in the ecosystem, with the fix and flipper, with the cash buyer, because you can be the conduit of doing many, many real estate deals out there as well. Shaun, as we wrap this up, I like to always ask my guests, just to make sure that if there was a question or a comment or something like that you want to end off with, that I give you the floor.
Yeah, a lot of final thoughts. I think we've been pretty direct with what's there and what's available. Let me just give you one more final thought. We just launched, and we're going to continue to launch more products, guys, over the next few months. I told you we're financially backed. I'm kind of a data geek that wants to help real estate investors thrive, right? But we launched one other product just this week. In fact, it was yesterday we went live with it. It's called Data Genie. If you ever have an address of a property that you need to get in touch with the homeowner, but you don't know how to get in touch with the homeowner, that's what we're here for. So we have this new product called Data Genie. For $50, we'll give you 250 credits, but you can literally upload a list of homes that might be vacant. They might be for pre-foreclosure or something else. But let's just say in your CRM or in your system, you've got some incomplete data. If you just give us the address or the name, we can kind of go through that. And within a couple minutes, we'll dig up a phone number or an email or social media contacts, like you have an Instagram or a Facebook and send a message to. Keep in mind, this is really cool because it's just something brand new we're launching this week. We call it Data Genie, but it's basically going to plug in the gaps and help you. If you've got a relationship with a person, you've got an address or you've got a phone, we can fill in the rest of the information and I just want you guys to know that's brand new, and it's something that can also help you get in touch with the actual property owner and not the tenant on properties when you're ready for something like that.
I love it. I love it. Well, Shaun, thank you so much for stopping by the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast. If you guys are listening to this podcast, go ahead and ensure that you go ahead and share the podcast. Of course, that is our biggest compliment here. So that way, if you're listening to this, you think, hey, I know a real estate investor, or I'm a real estate investor, and I want to go ahead and double my business. Go ahead and go to landvoice.com/SREC and make sure you continue to pass this information along. Shaun, we appreciate your time, and we'll catch you here soon.
Fun being with you, Zach. Thanks.
Hey guys, are you simply sick of juggling a dozen different software tools for your real estate business? I know I was, and I know I'm not a tech person, so it was frustrating. A subscription for this, you got a subscription for that, and they don't even work together out of the box. That's very frustrating, especially in the real estate world where your best time spent is going to be out in the field or on the phone with sellers. And now you're stuck hiring a tech guru just to make all that sync up. So let's ditch the chaos and let REI Black Book handle everything. Automate your lead follow-up, track every deal, analyze things quickly for you, make offers all in one platform. In fact, with the Wicked Smart platform, we now have access, if you're in the Wicked Smart community, to all the other associates' properties. Can you imagine that? So you're brand new in the business perhaps, and your seller looks on your website and sees 20, 30, 40 properties, instant credibility. So you're going to get everything on REI Black Book, from our custom workflows for lead generation all the way to closing. It has it covered. Try it today for just $1, guys. Visit smartrealestatecoach.com/REIBB-DD. smartrealestatecoach.com/REI, B as in boy, B as in boy, hyphen, D as in dog, D as in dog.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast. If you're ready to invest in yourself and take your investing to the next level, check out our 90-day Jumpstart program by going to smartrealestatecoach.com/jump. That's smartrealestatecoach.com/jump, because now is the time to act boldly in this unprecedented market shift.